Good morning. It's the Call Flow Radio Show, and you're on the air.
Well, yes, you are on the air. It's your Friday, December 13th. This is Chris Wood. We're going to ask you to hold off on your calls, though, because we do have a special guest in our Francis E. Wood studio, and that happens to be Prince Edward County Supervisor Doug Stanley. He's with us today to talk to us. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing good.
Doing good? All ready for Christmas?
Getting there.
Getting there. You know, when Thanksgiving is so late in the month, it always seems like you miss that extra 5 or 6 days, don't you?
Everything kind of speeds up.
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, the Board of Supervisors met, and
we did. We met on the December 10th and had a few items for discussion. One of the primary ones they dealt with is the board approved a Prince Edward County Emergency Services Response Plan. The response plan encompasses both fire response and EMS response. It had been previously presented to the Prince Area Firefighters Association at their November meeting, and the membership had voted unanimously to endorse it. The purpose of the document is to provide necessary basis for coordination of emergency response in Prince Edward. It provides both operational and administrative guidelines, and there's a Virginia Emergency Medical Services Regulations section that mandates that each of our EMS agencies that responds to medical emergencies for its primary service area shall be a designated emergency response agency. I want to thank Trey Powell, who is our emergency services coordinator, for putting this plan together and working with the various agencies and pulling it together. And it helps us make us more prepared when disaster strike and calls happen.
Right.
So appreciate him for all his efforts on that. We also, the board was considering a lease for a tower site. We're putting up this new public safety radio system that will serve not only Prince Edward, but the town of Farmville, Longwood, and Hampton-Sydney as well. And as part of that, we've got to add a couple towers. And we're looking at the potential of leasing space on tower sites. And we had a lease that was on the agenda for discussion. The board actually tabled action. They want us to go back and continue to try to negotiate better terms with the tower owner. And so we'll be continuing to do that. This year will be a big year as we try to work to roll out that new radio system and get it installed and up and running. We had an update from Sheriff Tony Epps on operations for the department, and he also recognized a couple officers who were recognized this year for their service with the department. We also heard community partner updates. We had Dr. Scott Davis, town manager of Town of Farmville, come and talk about town activities and what's going on. We heard a community partner report from Tiffany Duffy, who's with Kalen Hospitality that runs the Hampton Inn and the Holiday Inn. And Tiffany also serves on our tourism board and helps us with helping to market Prince Edward County to the world. And those two hotels are a big part of the hospitality industry here in Farmville. We heard county department reports. So both the November and December meetings, we have department heads come in and talk about their year and their activities and what's been accomplished. And we heard from our solid waste director, our social services director, director of planning and community development, finance director, emergency management, which was Trey Pyle, and Chelsea White on economic development and tourism. So it was great to hear kind of all the different things that have been accomplished throughout the year and kind of what we're looking forward to for 2025. Also heard from our two interns that work with us this fall. Both of them are Longwood students, Naya Casimiro, she's a sophomore at Longwood, and Trey Grizalecki. Trey is a senior at Longwood, and both of them talked about kind of their experiences in the various projects and things they worked on. Naya, for instance, worked on a community profile. It's like a 4-pager, just kind of a short, quick snapshot of the community, population, demographics, things like that. So we've already got that out. I think it was posted this past week on the Facebook page, but we've also got it on the county website. The board approved a memorandum of agreement with Buckingham County. We're looking to share responsibilities for a CSA coordinator. CSA is our Comprehensive Services Act. That's the position that works to help coordinate services for kids who need additional services, whether it's at school or through the courts. And they work with the FAP committee and CPMT to help make sure that these individuals receive the support necessary to have them have a successful life. And our finance director, Cheryl Stimson, since 2015 has been doing those duties. Mm-hmm. And we really need her to concentrate on her job as finance director. So,
That's pretty important.
And it's one of these things. It's a job, but it's not a full-time job for us. And mm-hmm. we'd looked to try to shift it over to DSS, and we kind of ran into some of the same issues. But we've been talking with Buckingham, and they're kind of in the same boat. So we're looking at trying to share a position.
Good.
So hopefully we'll see how that works out. One of the other cool things that's I reported to the board that we're talking with the Fish and Pig, and this is our county staff at the cannery and the Virginia Food Works staff. We're talking to them about the logistics of being able to help them make their sauces at the Prince Edward Cannery. So they just announced they're getting ready to open their 5th location in Clarksville. Mm-hmm. And this would be kind of cool that all their, most of their barbecue sauces and things mm-hmm, like the coleslaw would be made here at the cannery. So we're really hoping that works out.
They're really expanding.
They are expanding, and they have a need, and then it helps us at the cannery mm-hmm. as well. And mm-hmm. and I like to be able to think that we can have something to have that label made in Prince Edward County, distributed
Absolutely.
Across the state. So
yeah,
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
We received word from the United States Department of Agriculture that the Secretary of Ag had made a disaster declaration for Virginia and Prince Edward County, have been included in that. The designation makes farm operators in primary counties and also those that are in adjoining counties or contiguous counties eligible to be considered for emergency loan assistance, provided eligibility requirements are met. Farmers in counties have 8 months from the date of that declaration to apply for these emergency loans. So that had to deal with, the drought and weather that we had earlier this year.
Yes.
It's really exciting. I rode by this morning, the Prince Edward County Elementary School. There's a big track hoe taking down one of the 2 buildings that's coming down out there. So it's really exciting to see that project move along. We had a groundbreaking ceremony back on November 18. I think November 7th, the modular units, the portable classroom mm-hmm. units, the learning cottages, students were moved into those, which freed up space in those buildings that are coming down. So this is a project that'll, it's going to take a couple years, mm-hmm. 2+ years to complete, but we're excited that we finally gotten to this phase of the project and we're seeing stuff happen.
And the construction also on 15 South with Harbor Freight. And
absolutely, yeah. Talking about the commercial project. So you got Harbor Freight, Wawa, mm-hmm. and the Flagstop Car Wash, and then back over behind Lowe's, you've got the Five Pillars Meats. All 4 of those projects should be completed in the January-February timeframe. I know that probably Harbor Freight may be the closer of, mm-hmm. of the projects, but they're all moving along pretty well now. I know it's we've been talking about them for a little over a year, so it gets people get anxious, mm-hmm. but it's exciting to see them move along.
Yes,
and we've been every couple of weeks we'll post some updated pictures on our Facebook page and keep people kind of posted on what's going on. Mm-hmm. We're working with let me talk about this Nottoway to basically survey the county line between the 2 counties, because remember we had some issues with mm-hmm. people paying taxes in the wrong county, people voting in the wrong county, those types of things. So we've actually we had hired a surveyor last year. It's been surveyed, and our board's approved it. Nottoway is going to consider on the 18th to approve that, get it on record so that we can notify the property owners and make sure that for 2025 people are paying taxes where they're supposed to be, where they should be.
Yeah.
We've got a couple solar projects. There's a community meeting on 2 5 megawatts. Those are kind of smaller projects at the Meherrin Fire Department on December 18th. The larger Gabriel project, which is just under 1,200 acres, will be heard. A public hearing will be heard at the Planning Commission meeting on December 17th. That's a 80 megawatt project. It also includes a 120 megawatt battery storage facility. So sun is when the sun's out, you're producing electricity. When the sun goes down, you don't with solar. But when you have a battery storage facility, you can store that electricity and release it, say, overnight, so that you can spread out the usage of that energy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
It is.
We're excited to see what the public thinks about that. They've had a couple of community meetings, and we worked to try to address some of the concerns. It's a pretty remote area of the county down in Verso. But there were some neighbors that were, closer to that site that we wanted to try to make sure that we addressed their concerns, made sure the project was adequately screened so that it would have less of an impact visually on their property. And, of course, we'll make sure that, especially the stormwater type of things. But one of the unique things they're working on is they're going to include agrivoltaics, meaning that they're looking to graze sheep in the solar panels. So there will be an ag component to the project. And they've also looked at bee colonies, putting them out and planting, pollinators so that, flowers that will attract the bees and help them provide honey.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to be able to tie the agriculture part.
It's more encouraging, I think, to know that the land is still going to be of use for environmental
and
agriculture as well.
Right now, most of this land is timber cut over. It's not really it hasn't been really replanted in pines or anything. But we another thing to talk about, we've worked on our FY24 audit. The FY24 audit covers the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30 of 2024. Every year, local governments have to have their books audited, and a copy of that audit is presented to the Board of Supervisors, and we have to give a copy of that to the state. We have to provide, like the Virginia Resource Authority, organizations that we have borrowed money from. We have to give them a copy of that audit. We're about a month behind, and the auditor will be coming to our January meeting on the 14th to present that, and hopefully the board will be able to accept that. So we had to post a note that it's late, and it's late because our pre-auditor, which is one of the firms that does some of the financial work for us, they had a couple people that left the firm and they got behind, and so it's just one of those processes where you're kind of at the mercy of the vendors and the timing. But the other thing I want to talk about just for a second is kind of wrap up of year 2024 and what we're looking forward to in 2025.
Okay, let's do it.
So certainly, one of the big things this year was the 4 commercial projects that we just talked about out there on Route 15. We're excited to see those kind of get to the stage where they're at nearing completion. The elementary school project certainly has been talked about for a number of years, and we're, along with the school board, excited to see that project go to construction. I know the parents have been concerned about things like water leaks and mildew and things like that in the building, and certainly we're excited about the opportunity to put them into a learning environment they deserve.
Right.
We've got we're working this year, nearing completion here in the next month, on the revamping the visitor center and changing the displays. We got a grant from Virginia Tourism Commission and the Virginia 250 Initiative to help revamp the visitor center. So we're excited. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, we'll be able to have an open house and display the changes there. Yeah. We've been working on an updated tourism plan for Prince Edward County. We had hired Letterpress, a local consulting firm, to help us with a marketing plan for the community, and that's being presented to our Tourism Commission this month. The 2025 reassessment is nearing completion. So typically, local governments reassess their property every 4 to 6 years, and we've usually been on a 6-year cycle, and this year we've moved to a 4-year cycle, in part because of the kind of rapid increase of property values. And it's, if you wait 6 years, it's such a shock to see those numbers go up.
Yes, yeah.
So
it'd be nice to see them go down, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I think the important thing for everyone to know is that by law, the Board of Supervisors has to take that average increase and lower the real estate tax rate so that we're not getting any more revenue than we did the previous year. Anything above that has to be advertised as a tax increase.
Right.
So in the old days, counties would leave their tax rate alone, but because your value went up, you would pay more in tax. Well, that's not exactly how it works anymore. So I just caution people, just because their value goes up, until the board sets the tax rate for next year in probably April, you won't know exactly how that will impact. It could go up, could go down, depending on what action the board takes. The approval of the public safety radio system was a big project. I know our fire and rescue, first responders, sheriff's department, they have been dealing for years with holes in our coverage for the radio system. And this will make their lives easier. It will make them safer and provide better response to our citizens. So we're excited about getting that project moving forward. The County Board of Supervisors completed a contract with Avion for the ICA, the ICE facility here in town. We kind of assumed that contract from the town of Farmville. But moving forward with the increase, it's going to provide a significant stream of money that will help us, pay for some of these projects and things that we're doing and not have to rely simply on raising real estate taxes. So, and Avion, of course, is a big employer here with over 200 employees in our community. And, honestly, I think with the change in administrations in D.C., I think you're going to see a bigger emphasis on immigration. And, I think for that facility, it could mean more business, but certainly more interest. The other big project that we're wrapping up here in the last month is it's called Cell F, but it's the newest cell at the landfill. And that's important because that will provide another 10 years worth of capacity for us to take trash from our residents and businesses here in the community at the landfill.
How large are these cells? I mean,
This one is, I think it's 3 or 4 acres. So it's big and it's not big. Considering we own a 500-acre site, that's not very large. But you got to think about the height that you will fill that cell into.
Yeah.
But basically, the cell involves putting down a plastic liner so that you can collect the leachate, which is the water that's kind of like a coffee filter that sifts through that landfill. That material is kept into a pond, and then we pump it into a tanker, and to bring that tanker, and it's brought to the Farmville sewer plant to be treated as part of their sewage. So to make sure we adequately and properly take care of it, and also make sure that stuff will not get into the groundwater of the area out there in Prospect near landfill. So
you dig down?
We dig down, put the liner in, and there's a gravel bed over top of that so the water can infiltrate from the trash down through that gravel and get into the collection system that is piped to our leachate pond.
Boy, that's a lot, isn't it? That's a lot of...
It is. It's it's all engineering, and it is a lot involved. And but those are the types of things that make sure that we protect the environment.
Right.
As you know, we had a household hazardous cleanup day back in November, and part of that was, and we ended up, I think we had about 91 cars bring different materials to us, and I didn't bring all the totals with me today, but we had, I think, over 150 gallons of different types of fuels. You had pesticides and all kinds of paints. Yes, all that stuff that potentially would get in the landfill and, could get down to that leachate and stuff. So we want to make sure to get that stuff out of the system. Also include a lot of fluorescent light bulbs, batteries, all those types of things. So 2025, just want to talk for a second about some of the things that we're looking forward to.
Okay.
One is finishing the comprehensive plan. We've been working with the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors on updating the county's comprehensive plan. State law requires us to review that every 5 years. But with COVID, it's been, I think since 2014 or so, that we had really changed and updated the plan. So it was in need of review and update, and we were making significant changes to it. And primarily, it's a much more, I think, user-friendly document. It's got a lot of graphics, and people... Sometimes you have documents that talk about visions and things you want to see in the community, but when you can put pictures to it, it's easier for folks to really visualize what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think we've been able to accomplish that. Hopefully in the next couple months, we'll have a community meeting and roll that out and talk about the plan and again, what the vision is for the next 20 years for Prince Edward. We hope to be able to bid the Worsham convenience site upgrade. We did the Rice site a couple years ago. The next one is going to be the one at Worsham. That's our next busiest. That's right there off County Shop Road, just below Kingsville, and serves kind of the Lee and Hamden districts and the center part of Prince Edward. And we're looking, again, like the Rice site, we will, pave it, put new fencing, put a leachate collection system under the compactors to collect any water that comes out. They'll have security cameras, all those features. So we're excited about moving forward with that project. We hope to finish our strategic economic development plan that the IDA is working on. That's it's kind of a separate plan that looks at what types of businesses we're going to target and go after and bring in for the community. We've got a couple large solar projects. I mentioned, of course, the Gabriel one that will be up for consideration. I'm really hopeful that we will have here in the next month or two an announcement on the HIP Park. That's the Heartland Innovative Technology Park located just off Persimmon Tree Fork Road, just east of town, that we're marketing to data centers. We just saw, I think Appomattox County had a big announcement of a 400-plus acre data center site in their community, and we've been working on that for the HIP Park. So hopefully we'll have an announcement soon.
Now, tell me a little bit more about the data center. What does that involve?
So basically, number one, you need a couple components. Number one, you need fiber, and we have a lot of fiber going through on 460, dark, unused fiber that can support the development of that. You need electricity because these centers use a tremendous amount of electricity. And the site that the county owns has a 120 and a 230 kilovolt power lines that intersect on the site. So you have lots of power availability. Then you need waters, and we're working to get a connection to the town of Farmville and hopefully eventually to the Sandy River Reservoir to provide water because you need water for cooling, especially in the summer months. These computers and equipment produce a lot of heat. As you know, when you've got a computer in your office and you can feel the heat coming off of it, when you have an entire room of servers, they produce a tremendous amount of heat. So the air conditioning units that help to cool them can typically use a lot of water. So that's one of the components. So those three things that we have availability of make our site a very attractive site for development of them. They generate a lot of revenue for the community, not only because of the building and the infrastructure that goes in, but the equipment in the buildings is very costly. So I think Loudoun County, Virginia, this past year brought in close to $900 million in revenue simply from data centers.
Wow.
So, they're helping to fuel that community and just one or two in a community like Prince Edward could be a game changer. Primarily, it would allow us to not have to focus on taxing our residents to be able to do things like make school improvements.
Okay,
so,
good.
yeah, we think it could be a game changer for Prince Edward, and we're working diligently on that. We're also looking, talking with the town of Farmville about moving the Prince Edward County Sheriff's Office Dispatch Center into the Town Dispatch Center and merge those two. We think right now when calls come in for the Sheriff's Department, they are routed from the Town Dispatch Center over to the Sheriff's Office. Say at night you've got one person answering calls. If you have multiple calls, it's kind of hard to deal with it as we grow.
Yeah.
It makes it tougher. And, I think at the end of the day, it makes it potentially a little bit more efficient to be able to be in one facility. So we're having that discussion with the town. And then the last one is our animal shelter project. Our animal shelter, again, out at County Shop Road below Kingsville, is way undersized. It was built over 50 years ago. Doesn't meet current state standards. We have been cited before by the state for the need for inadequate facility. So we know we need to move forward with a new facility and hopefully one that will serve us for another 50 years. But we're hopeful that maybe later in this year we'll be able to get that project out to bid and get moving forward with it.
Good. That's great. Yeah.
So hopefully, that's one of those. Hopefully, people in the community recognize the need for it. Everybody loves their animals.
Yep.
But hopefully, we'll have a lot of support for having adequate facility. Because right now, if we can't, you're sometimes stuck in situations of, you're trying to find somebody to foster animals. You're trying to find, work with groups like the Southside SPCA to move animals out that are adoptable. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if you're running out of room in order to take more animals in, sometimes you're stuck in a situation of having to put animals down, and we don't like to be in that situation.
Right.
But so it's been an exciting 24, and it looks to be an exciting 2025.
I know, that's wonderful. Moving forward, that's the thing, and working together and getting the job done.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a great year, Chris, and I appreciate the opportunity to come here and talk on Call Flow about what's going on in Prince Edward and hopefully educate the public a little bit. And as always, they're welcome to get in touch with me if they have questions or concerns.
Okay. All right. Sounds great. And have a happy Christmas.
We are.
Happy New Year as well.
We're going to go visit my daughter's in-laws in Oklahoma for our grandchild's first Christmas. So it's going to be exciting.
Oh, I'll bet. That's great. All right. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you and everything that you do for the county and, the community as well. So, all right.
Thank you.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye. All right. That was Prince Edward County Supervisor Doug Stanley giving us an update on what's going on in Prince Edward County. And it sounds like everything is coming along just fine. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate him taking the time to come in and talk to us about it. Well, our time is 8:34, so we need to get some business done, and I see that John Staten has entered the studio.
Yeah, let me grab my headset.
Oh, okay. All right. We've got some business to take care of, like the weather forecast. It's brought to you by the Bank of Charlotte County.
Stuart Wilborn, manager of the Bank of Charlotte County Loan Office in downtown Farmville. With over 30 years of banking experience, I'm here to help you finance your commercial, agricultural, or personal project. Give us a call at 391-1136 or stop by our downtown office at 216 North Main Street, where you'll find old-school personal assistance with attention to detail. The Bank of Charlotte County, giving you more for your banking needs. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
All right, your forecast for Southside and Central Virginia. For today, we'll see sunshine, however, some increasing clouds as well. Look for a high around 50 degrees. For tonight, decreasing clouds with a low of 27. On Saturday, mostly sunny with a high around 44 degrees. Saturday night, mostly cloudy with a low of 28. And for Sunday, we'll see mostly cloudy with a 40% chance of some showers developing. Look for a high on Sunday of 45 degrees. On a Sunday night, a low of 38 with a 50% chance of some shower activity. For Monday, we'll see a 30% chance of showers, otherwise mostly cloudy with a high of 57. Monday night, a 40% chance of showers with a low of 46. And for Tuesday, we'll see a 40% chance of showers. Get this, a high of 65 degrees. So here we go again with that roller coaster weather as far as temperatures go. Your humidity now is at 86%. Our winds are calm. Our barometer is now 39.59 inches, so it's rising just a tad. And we have mostly fair skies outside. Temperatures at 28 degrees now, so it's starting to warm up just a little bit. That's your weather forecast brought to you by the Bank of Charlotte County with branch locations in Phoenix, Charlotte Courthouse, Brookneal, and their loan office in downtown Farmville. All right, we've got our birthdays coming up, and since it's Friday, we'll have 3 days worth. The birthday calendar is brought to you by Terry Atkins Wilson, PC.
The law office of Terry Atkins Wilson, PC, is located at 117 North Main Street in downtown Farmville. With deep roots in Farmville and our surrounding communities, Terry and her legal staff specialize in real estate law, wills and trusts, and business formations. Experience and professionalism are extended to every customer in every case. The needs and concerns of every customer are their primary focus. If you have legal needs, contact the law office of Terry Atkins Wilson, PC, for a consultation at 434-392-1422.
All right, that's our cue to turn the microphone over to John Staten so he can tell us who's celebrating these 3 days.
All righty, let's see. It is Friday the 13th. Notice that.
Yes, I did notice that.
Okay.
I'm trying not to notice that.
Well, because it's Friday the 13th, nobody was born on this day.
Oh, okay. No birthdays?
Not
to
on the
say that?
calendar here,
Oh,
and not on these other pages I'm seeing here.
Okay.
So I guess we'll just jump into the 14th. Natalie Wheeler on Saturday the 14th. Stone Simmons, Jensen Scott Pinnell. And we have an anniversary couple on the 14th. Kent and Sharon Caldwell.
All right.
And let's see, I'm comparing notes here. Okay, nobody as of other than that. And so now the 15th, Sunday, Jade Marie Shell, Sydney Shute, Jake Reed, Pumpkin Arnold is what it says, and Dallas Bassinger.
Okay.
All having birthdays on Sunday the 15th. And that's it. That's all I have in front of me here.
Okay. All right. Now tell them how they can get those names to us.
You can send the names, anniversaries, birthdays to birthdays at WFLO.net or call us now 434-394-0924.
Okay. And for the right legal advice, visit Terry Atkins Wilson, PC, on Main Street in Farmville. All right. We've got a time of 8:39. Lines are now open at 434-394-0924 on this Friday, the 13th day of December. I wonder if that's... are you superstitious, John?
As far as... Oh, you mean about Friday the 13th? Mm-hmm. I don't know, but I saw two falling stars this morning.
Oh, they were meteors, yeah.
Well, that's what it was?
Uh-huh.
I saw both of them.
It's the Gemini, I think it's a Gemini.
On my way here to work,
shower.
I was driving over here, and I saw one on one back road, and then when I got on Plank, I saw the other one.
Well, it was daylight, wasn't it? No, it was early.
This morning.
Because you came in early this morning.
Yeah, it was dark this morning. Yeah,
well, good. Yeah, Idgie and I are going to try to look for some of those meteorites as well. This is a good time to view them this weekend, I guess. Tonight might be the best night since it's going to be cloudy with some showers and stuff developing on Sunday. Anyway, we do have open lines. Let's see. We can get to some celebrity birthdays here. And we'll find out who has a birthday on this December the 13th. Dick Van Dyke is still around. Yep. He's 99 years old today. Dick Van Dyke. He won a Daytime Emmy Award. Oh, let's see if I can get back down there to that. I'm experienced in West Virginia, I guess. Anyway, I don't want to do that. I want to get back here. Okay, now. All right. Let's see here. We'll move up and down and all around. That's today in history. No wonder, famous birthdays. Let's see. Okay. He won a Daytime Emmy Award earlier this year for his guest appearance on The Days of Our Lives. Actor Steve, is it Buscemi?
Yep.
Okay. He turned 67 today. He was in the motion picture Transformers 1. And, he voiced Starscream in the animated film Transformers 1. So that was, He looks very familiar, so I'm sure he's, been in many films.
Oh, yeah.
Actor Jamie Foxx turns 57 today. He also directed a couple of episodes of the Jamie Foxx Show. So he had a show named after him. Anyway, singer Amy Lee turns 43. She was a member of the American rock band Evanescence. And let's see who else. Taylor Swift turns 35 today. She's been a musical guest on SNL, that's Saturday Night Live, 5 times, including one episode she also hosted. So, good for her. More celebrities. Country singer Buck White of the Whites turns 94. I've never heard of them. It's because they're an older group. Actor-singer John Davidson is 83.
Yeah.
Actor Kathy Garver of Family Affair is 79. Guitarist Jeff Skunk Baxter of the Doobie Brothers and Steely Dan
yep.
is 76. Singer Ted Nugent is also 76.
Uncle Ted.
Country singer guitarist Randy Owen of Alabama turns 75 today.
Was he the lead singer? I think so, but I'm not sure. Chris is looking at me.
I have no idea. Actor Wendy Malick of Hot in Cleveland and Just Shoot Me is 74 today. Country singer John Anderson is 70. Singer Steve Forbert, 70 years old. Singer Morris Day of The Time, 68. Johnny Whitaker of Family Affair is 65 today.
You mentioned John Anderson. He's the guy that had that long, curly blonde hair back in the day. And I'm the black sheep of the family. That was one of his songs. I remember that when I was stuck in country crock music.
Oh, okay.
I think we have a caller.
Yeah, we'll stop right there for the time being. And we'll say, good morning. You're on the Call Flow Show.
Oh, my gosh. Good morning, people.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
Okay, thank you. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
Yes. I have a bone to pick with you.
With me?
I went into the mart yesterday. Like somebody come in and bought all the pecans.
What?
There's not a pecan in sight.
You think Chris bought them all?
No,
Yeah.
but I'm glad you told me because, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go somewhere else to get my pecans because I was going to buy all of my ingredients today.
No, I thought you bought them all. I was just joking.
Oh, no. I do remember back in the COVID days when this was 3 or 4 years ago, I guess. I was I usually buy my pie shells frozen, of course, and there wasn't a pie shell anywhere near a radius of about 70 miles, I think. So
yeah, I remember that. Yes, I think I went back a few days in a row, and they're like still none. So yeah.
That's right. Well, I'll have to check. I'll have to check there today, and if not, then I'll have to go elsewhere, I guess, to get my pie, to get my pecans. I do have some already frozen, but not quite enough to do all the pies I want to.
Yes, I think so. I think you're going to have to wheelbarrow one of them out. Oh my gosh.
That was not good. That was not good news.
Oh man.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a question about. I was reading, and they had this is about the music industry, I guess, and they had found somewhere. What was it about? I think like 12 old Michael Jackson songs that were never released and just, I guess, recorded in a studio. So my question to you guys is, do you think it's appropriate to release something that the creator didn't put a stamp on? I mean, if he wanted people to hear it, he would have released it.
That's a good question, John. What about that?
About the Michael Jackson unreleased songs?
Well, Well,
Well, about
anything, 'cause
anybody
sometimes you-
doing,
Yeah.
release stuff.
You mean the thing about where they find these songs sort of always that never got done? Is that
Yeah.
what you were alluding to?
Uh-huh. Yes, sir.
Well, there's some truth to that to a degree. You think about it. I mean, when artists record in sessions and whatnot, they usually probably record more than they actually need, and they think about, well, we have this in the can if we ever want to release it. I'm a big Van Halen fan, and there's talk of releasing unreleased material that Edward worked on, and he was famous for stockpiling all this music that never got used for whatever reason, and so there's talk of maybe trying to AI this thing and release music that maybe wasn't finished and all this other stuff. So, I mean, it is a thing. It is interesting, though, sometimes how much they find, because was it like when Tupac passed away? It seemed like he was coming out with an album. There was even a joke made about it from, I almost say Chris Rock or something, kept making jokes about how he kept having albums come out after he was already gone. And so, I mean, it's a thing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how many Michael Jackson songs were they referring to, or did they say?
Well, so far in this one box they found 12 recordings. And
it's possible. I mean, because I know that there was a song supposedly that was going to be him and Freddie Mercury together doing a song. I've read about this. And it ended up eventually being the song that Mick Jagger did with the Jacksons, the last tour that he did with the Jacksons, Michael Jackson. They did that song, State of Shock is what it's called, and it ended up being Mick Jagger. But originally it was supposed to be, I guess, Freddie Mercury from Queen. And so maybe they're going to dig up something like that, because there is supposedly a rough recording of some of that somewhere, of those two together trying to do the song.
Well, I would think that they would have been copyrighted. Or not.
I don't know if you don't bother to release them. I don't know if the copyright thing comes into play. I don't know how all that works, to be perfectly honest. As far as
those are two different voices, yeah.
Yeah, well, it was true, because I've seen Freddie Mercury an old interview where he was talking about it. So it was actually a thing. So it just never saw fruition. It just never got developed. That sort of thing happens more often than not, I think, where these ideas of artists doing things together and whatnot, and it just falls through for whatever reason. It just doesn't happen. So yeah, I mean, it does happen a bit. I mean, Hendrix had the same thing. Hendrix, they would find songs here and there and release them. I want to say like in the 90s. I think they were still doing that to a degree.
So do you picture it being maybe like, this just isn't up to my standard, so I'm just toss it in that box or something?
Sometimes
like that.
Well, that's the way with the Eddie Van Halen thing. He would come up with these ideas, present them to the band, and if they didn't dig it or couldn't agree on it, they would just end up back in the can.
So you think they should stay buried then?
Well, if you're a fan, I can see why you'd want to hear it. Why not? I mean, well, what good is it just sitting there? If it's a chance to hear something that's really cool or interesting, yeah, why not? Otherwise, no one can enjoy it. But if it's not really up to par, I mean, well, the Beatles sort of did that with in the 90s when they did the song "Free as a Bird." They found an old track of Lennon that it was solo. It was one of his solo tunes. It wasn't like supposed to be a Beatles tune. And they got the guy from ELO, Jeff Lynne, to help with the producing of that and putting it together. And they added their voice. So, I mean, that became something that could have easily just never been released at all, and no one would have ever heard it. I want to say Yoko may have even given the song originally to Paul to do something with.
I just think of the legal, part of it.
Yeah.
As far as
but I think
being
that probably comes more into play when you actually release the song or looking to release the song. But that's just me guessing. I don't. Yeah, I'm sure you have to.
Well, that's the other thing that happens a lot of time is the okaying of lawyers and all this other stuff and the contracts, and especially when it involves other people. Mm-hmm. And that sometimes can kill an idea right there.
Yep. So we don't,
They don't agree on that sort of stuff.
Well, that's a very good question, though.
Yes, I'd be curious. Even if you found in their will, it's like, if you find something, please do not release it. And then all somebody sees is dollar signs when they find the recording.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I don't know. Did you guys hear that I guess the FBI and the Pentagon come out again? And it's like, with the drones? We don't know anything about it.
Yeah, you mentioned this earlier in the week, and now it's starting to catch a buzz because it's on the AP, on the either Oddities, I think, or something like that. It's mentioned.
It was on.
I mean, but I think it's on AP. But have they mentioned it on the news? I assume.
Yeah,
by now.
It was on the news on television last night that they were flying around New Jersey and all the places like that, and that they finally were trying to investigate on what it was, but they didn't seem very, it didn't seem like it was a priority up until that time, until people really started noticing it.
Yes. They had a shot of, I guess they're becoming regulars every night. One of the highways, there are just like cars as far as you can see pulled over just to get a glimpse of these guys.
Oh. Well, at least there are a lot of witnesses there.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they, can get a hold of one of them to find out exactly what's going on.
Oh, well, yes. I think somebody on the news mentioned just shoot it down. Mm-hmm. I could just picture everybody out there firing guns into the sky.
Oh, man.
I don't know. So, do you guys have a regular week next week working?
Next week?
Yeah.
We'll try to be off for Christmas, but we'll see.
Not next week. Week
I'm
after.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
The week of Christmas.
The week of Christmas. Is that what you're asking?
No, next week.
Next week. As far as I know, next week is next week.
Oh, everything's regular?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I've got a calendar right here in front of me. Let's see. Yeah, no, I think as far as I know, everything's going to be normal next week. I haven't heard otherwise.
Right. Sounds good.
Unless somebody tells me at the last minute or whatever.
Oh, man.
Or the week, as the week goes. But to my knowledge, everything is the same.
Okay. So, are you guys digging the Christmas music you're playing?
I'm more of a sprinkle it in kind of guy. Have regular music and sprinkle in Christmas, but that's just me.
I was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. But that's my answer. I don't mind sprinkling in Christmas music, but.
Yeah, I was surprised when I heard you guys going 24/7.
Well, Flo's always done that, as far as I can tell. Remember, I mean, Chris can tell you better than me, but but it's always been either not long after Thanksgiving or just after, or
usually the 1st of December.
Yeah,
that first week in December.
I think after Thanksgiving you would sprinkle it in.
Things.
That's it, and then come December, onslaught.
Yeah. But fortunately for us, here we have such a vast library of Christmas music, traditional, classical, more modern, that, it's you're not hearing the same old song, all, various renditions of it all the time. But so that's a little refreshing.
I noticed. There's not a lot of the classics, I guess you could call them.
Well, we'll get as we get closer to Christmas, you'll hear more classical music, more of the traditional ones, more religious, more that way, the more classical music, which is it's a good thing. I think we're going to have some sponsored Christmas music like we normally do.
Yeah, it more than likely will be the 24th, 25th, but until those orders come in, I can't verify for sure.
Yeah.
But
and what were they called?
It's like where a local business will sponsor a portion of Christmas music.
either 15 minutes or a half an hour of Christmas music.
the only difference
okay.
the only difference is we're coming on going. This portion of Christmas music is brought to you by, and insert the business, and then say
has
that
a
they
greeting with it as well.
Yeah, and they're basically thanking their customers for their patronage and stuff like that. It's just sort of like
they
a
get to
thanks
choose?
shout out. They get to choose the music
No.
Oh, yes.
to a degree.
To a degree, yeah.
To a
Like
degree.
if it's a funeral home, we're not going to play Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, basically. You know,
Or try not to.
It'll be more.
Oh, or yes. Or I guess you can't play I'll Be Home for Christmas either, huh? So.
It's
yeah, you can-
it's that, and depending if they want something specific played, maybe during that. But
Mm-hmm.
as
Yeah.
far as it's usually to our discretion for the most part.
All right.
But it's more of just a way of them thanking their customers
Okay.
throughout the year.
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
Good.
Yeah.
I think I.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, well, it's just, like I said, it is a kind of a public service type
Yeah.
thing. They do pay for their segment, but
Yeah.
it's mostly, it's not all talk and stuff. And
No, we
it's-
barely. I mean, we talk maybe roughly 3 times, kind of an opening, a middle, and a close.
Yeah.
And that's about it. And then it's just sort of music filling out the rest.
Yeah. Music to cook by.
Mhm.
Music to
you
open
go.
presents
Yeah.
by.
That's a good theme. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway,
Why not?
why not? All right.
Okay.
You have anything
Yeah,
else
I
you
just called to. No, I just called to say hi, and then
Well,
I started
good.
running my mouth.
Well,
and then,
we're glad. We hope that you have a nice weekend.
yes, you guys too.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Take care.
Be safe.
All right.
All right.
Try to stay warm.
yes. All right.
Stay
Mhm.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Listen, I'm trying to stay warm.
What is it now?
Well, it was 28 degrees, but we shall see what the temperature is, if it's risen any. We're looking for a high today around. It's 30 degrees now. We're not quite at freezing, but it's 38
Right.
degrees. 30 degrees. Yep. Anyway, anything else that you want to add, John?
No. No, not really.
Not really?
Just have a good weekend, and you got any plans this weekend?
Yeah, I've got some things that I need to sew up. I'm got to do my Christmas cards and, all that.
Right.
And I get stuff to wrap presents with and bake pies.
All right.
That's what I'm going to start doing.
All right. Well, good
All
luck.
right. Thank you. All right. That's going to do it for us for today. We, of course, thank Doug Stanley for coming in and telling us what's going on in Prince Edward County. And our first caller as well. He always has some interesting comments and questions. So stay tuned. We do have some news coming up along with the weather forecast. And it's more Christmas music on WFLO.
WFLO AM 870 Farmville.